This is the part of the service where we dig into God's Word. Those words will be on the screen for you to see here in a minute, but if you'd like to take a look in your own Bible, maybe you have that Bible in front of you that you like to use and make some notes or just read along. I'm reading from the New International Reader's Version, and it would be the book of Matthew. Matthew is the first book in the New Testament, and we're going to look at chapter 26. Chapter 26, verses 31 to 35. Matthew chapter 26, verses 31 to 35. What we have here is Jesus talking to his disciples, specifically to his disciple Peter. And as he shares some things that are about to come and what Peter and the others are about to do, there's some denial. Denial is basically saying, I don't think that would ever happen. Well, the first clue here should have been, this is Jesus, who's God, and he would know what's about to happen. And Jesus speaks those same words to you and me today. Listen as I share them with you from Matthew chapter 26. The title says, Jesus says that the disciples will turn away. Jesus told them, that is, his disciples, this very night you will all turn away because of me. It is written that the Lord said, I will strike the shepherd down, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered. This was from the book of Zechariah. So years before Jesus even walked on this earth, it was told and predicted that this would happen. But after I, that is Jesus, rise from the dead, I, Jesus, will go ahead of you into Galilee. Well, Peter replied, all the others may turn away because of you, but I never will, said Peter. What I'm about to tell you is true, Jesus answered. It will happen tonight. Before the rooster crows, you will say 3 times that you don't even know me. But Peter said, I may have to die with you, but I will never say that I don't know you. And all the other disciples, well, they said the exact same thing. This last summer, when it was nice out, my family was coming to visit me at our house, at our home. And so we were trying to do some things to get ready for them to visit. One of those fun things that we like to do with our family and my nephews and nieces is play volleyball out in the yard. Well, we have a lot of space to have a volleyball net and a court, but the one problem we had is our large tree. But I thought I could take care of it by getting rid of some of the low branches that were over the volleyball court area. Because once we served and hit that volleyball up in the air, those tree branches were kind of low and they got in the way. So I decided to grab a ladder and set that ladder up, and I took my handsaw. I climbed up the ladder, and with a couple strokes of the saw, I took down some of the branches. Seemed like everything was going really well until I got to one branch. I climbed up and I was about to start cutting, and my daughter, she said to me, Daddy, I think you might want to reconsider that one branch. No, I'm fine. I know what I'm doing, I said. Well, she spoke again. She said, Daddy, no, really. If you cut that branch, that other one's going to hit your ladder. You might fall off. No, I said. I know what I'm doing because I'm the dad. And I will be just fine. But Daddy, she said, you're going to get hurt. No. I'll be just fine. And so I continued to cut that branch. I think you know what's coming. She was exactly right. Once I cut that branch, the other one that was resting on it came flying forward. It hit my ladder. It threw me off the ladder. I had quite the bruise, and I could have been seriously hurt, especially since I was holding that razor-sharp saw. Thankfully, my daughter is very kind, and she didn't say, "I told you so." But she was right. And she gave me plenty of warning from where she was standing. She knew what was about to happen. And she told me to maybe change my mind and try something different. Has that ever happened to you? Someone gave you a warning, someone told you what might happen, and you ignored them? It can happen to all of us. Sometimes we just think we know better. Sometimes we think we wouldn't do something wrong. But sometimes we just don't see it from that angle, and we think it could never happen to us. The same thing happened to Peter. Jesus even told him, "You're going to say you don't know me." If you know this story, which is a true story, Peter does that in a little bit. He does say, "I don't know, Jesus." And he gets angry about it. But he goes to Jesus after and says, "I'm sorry I did that." Jesus knew what Peter and the other disciples would do when they got scared. He knew they would run away because they were afraid. Jesus reminds you, and he reminds me. He tells us several times throughout the Bible of things for us to watch out for, things to be careful with, things to be ready for. But in the end, when we often don't take his advice or forget or choose not to because of our own pride or just because we think we know better, we forget to listen to Jesus. And yet he still gives us the grace that we don't deserve when he says it's okay. I died for you. I rose for you. And I forgive you. Dear friends, as you watch this message, whether it's in the middle of Lent or it's weeks after Easter, those same words from Jesus apply to you and to me at any time. Remember them and know how much your God is watching out for you. He gives us advice not because he wants us to say, "I don't know enough." God knows more. That's certainly clear. But he does, and he says those things for our own good. May we remember that, and I pray that those words that Jesus shares with you are a good reminder throughout your journey here on this earth. Thanks for being part of this message and digging into God's Word. I would encourage you to continue going through the book of Matthew in that chapter.